Hey everybody, welcome to the Ronline Report. Got a guest here you've probably been hearing a lot about. You know him by the name Psycho Chris. His name is actually Chris Lewis. A very well-known trainer out at Gold's Gym Venice, the Mecca. Thank you for joining us, Chris, first and foremost.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So I have to start with the nickname. I saw another interview that said your mom used to call you Psycho. Psycho
Right.
Chris.
Right.
Why would your mother call you Psycho? What were you doing?
Well, silly story, but the movie Psycho.
Yes.
I memorized all the words, so the part 1, part 2, and part 3.
Oh my goodness.
So that's where I got the actual name Psycho from.
I thought I was a geek because I know all the lines from The Exorcist, but you are good. Okay.
Right, and I thought the movie was really funny.
Wow, okay. Now we know. I never would have thought it was movie Psycho, but okay.
Yeah, it's the movie Psycho.
So when you started your training business, have people been calling you Psycho Chris for a long time?
Yeah, they've been calling me either crazy or psycho or nuts or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's been there the whole time. Trust me, if you know me, it's not a far reach to call me psycho. It fits.
Right on. So how did you get started with weight training and bodybuilding? How did you come to this crazy world of ours?
Well, I actually stumbled upon it. I was working out like most people do in high school, and I had pretty good chest and arms, and I went to a local gym, and a girl took me to a bodybuilding show, and I was blown away. I was blown away by it. I never seen someone take someone out without even touching them.
Wow. So
that.
Did you grow up in LA or where?
I grew up in LA, Southwest LA.
Okay. So do you remember which show it was?
No, it was definitely a John Lindsay show.
Yeah. So
it was at the Aviation Auditorium. So it definitely was a John Lindsay show.
Okay.
No, I don't remember the name of it, but I was smitten at that moment.
That was a great place. They still have shows there?
Sometimes, but they mostly have them in Culver City.
Yeah, Redondo Beach. That was quite a location.
Right, yeah, Redondo Beach, right, exactly.
They did the pro Ironman there. Ironman probably a dozen times or more at that place.
That was the first place I met Dexter Jackson at that pro Ironman.
Oh, okay. So
that was the first time.
You saw that. How old were you when you first got a glimpse of all this?
I was probably in my late 20s, early 30s.
Oh, okay, wow. So kind of late start.
Yeah. I was kind of skipping around in local neighborhood gyms and didn't really get it. I didn't stumble into Venice until maybe like 29. I met Chris Cormier at a grand opening of another gym, and we met. We exchanged numbers, and we were talking, and he brought me. Chris Cormier actually brought me into Gold's Gym.
Wow. So when would this have been? Like late 90s? Okay,
let's see. He had done one Olympia, so it was like late 90s.
Okay.
At that time, he had done one Olympia.
I was lucky enough to be in LA and Gold's Venice from 91 to 2000. So that was the earlier part of that decade was just, I don't even have the words for it. It was amazing. What was it like for you the first few weeks that you were at Gold's Venice? What was the place like?
Well, Gold's Gym, it was like, sometimes you go to Gold's Gym now and you kind of work your way up to the top bodybuilders and stuff like that. I came right in with the top bodybuilders. The top bodybuilder brought me in, and it was blown away. Like I went from kindergarten to grad school in one day. I was right there, like thrown in deep into the pool, and it was pretty amazing. I was working for my dad in construction, and I was like, I couldn't wait to leave. Like I was just itching off and leaving. I would take long lunch breaks, go train with Cormier, and then go back to work, then go back. And
wow.
I was just blown away by it. It was an amazing time, an amazing place, an amazing time. There would be 20 professional bodybuilders in there at any given day. Yeah. It would be Francis Benfato coming over. Lee Haney would stop by. It was just an amazing time,
Yeah. So you caught probably the tail. I'd say that was probably the tail end of it. That's sort of right after that. Everybody started migrating to like Vegas and Florida.
Where the internet, when the internet came, people felt they didn't need to be at Gold's Venice anymore, and people started leaving. So Flex, he moved away. Yeah. Cormier moved to Vegas. Jay moved to Vegas, and it just kind of snowballed, and then there was only a few left.
Yeah, I mean, I've been there a few times in recent years, and it's not what it used to be. I mean, for you to have been there when it was still in the glory days, was it kind of sad for you to watch that sort of go away slowly as years went by?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. It's not sad because you know, when I came in, I was in my late 20s, and now I'm in my 50s. It's up to me to bring it back.
Yeah.
I can't expect Cormier to stay there or Flex to stay there. If I'm going to stay there, I have to bring it back, and that's the thing about my thing, redemption. I got to bring it back. It's up to me now.
Yeah.
I can't wait around for someone else to do it. I got to make the bodybuilders want to come there.
Well, that's a noble cause, man. I'm glad you're doing that, because that's what the appeal was. Because last time I was there, I saw Charles training Rhoden, and I think Brad Rowe was there, but that was about it. I was looking around like, what happened? Where is everybody? This place used to be like a magazine. You'd walk in and, oh my God, there's Mike Monterazzo, there's Flex Lewis, Flex Wheeler, Chris Cormier, Paul Dillette. Yeah, it was nuts back in the day. So you, what were your aspirations when you started competing? I know you've done very well. You won tournament champion super heavies. You were super heavy. You know, what were your goals? Where did you want to go with all that?
It's weird. I never wanted to compete. It's funny. I never wanted to compete, but Flex Wheeler actually made me compete. I remember he said, Chris had done some shows, and he had done some shows, and he looked at me, we're having lunch, he goes, so what show you doing? I said, show? What do you mean? He goes, he said, we compete and we win shows here. Yeah. That's what we do. And so I wanted to hang out with him, so I had to get my feet wet. Yeah. And then I had to start doing some shows and stuff like that. And it was all right. It was fun. But I never wanted to turn pro. That wasn't it. I was always behind the scenes, and that's what I wanted to do. And that's what I love doing. I love the process.
So how did you end up? Now you were basically an apprentice to Charles Glass for a while, correct?
Apprentice, I would say this. Charles Glass, Cormier brought me into those. Yeah. He's the first one. And I was basically a bodybuilding whore. So when Chris got ready for his shows, he would pass me to Flex. And when Flex did his show, he passed me to Dillette. Yeah. And I went around, whoever's prepping for a show, I was like the best sparring partner for the job.
That's awesome.
Charles kind of caught wind of that. And, Charles has so much knowledge, and, and he can do the same thing 30 different ways. So, of course, I gravitated to Charles, and Charles actually trained me for the shows that I did. He actually trained me and got me in the best shape of my life. Wow. So it was just a natural thing, that we kind of clicked up together. So, but I never worked for Charles. I would go to Charles and say, you need me to do, and of course there was always somebody or setting things up and stuff like that. So that's how I learned a lot of the movements, the techniques, and so forth like that. It was from Charles. He's actually my mentor. He was my mentor. That's a true statement.
Yeah, I love Charles. I did his column with him for years, and what a cool guy. So when did you go from? How did you go from being training partner to the stars to trainer to the stars?
Well, it went from watching to training partner to actually being a trainer. And I would say I was always there. If you remember the Battle for the Olympia tapes, they were made, Miss Zero. If you look at those, you'll see me in the shadows. I would always shy away from the camera and stuff like that. So I was always there. And even sometimes that day, I wouldn't even show up for the filming. I wasn't even there. Like when there's a picture of Chris Cormier when he squatted, I think it was like 650. I'm the guy behind him. I've always been in behind, Yeah. So I would say 3 years ago is where the separation started to actually take place. Wow. The separation between Charles and I.
Okay. So have you only been working for a trainer that long, or have you been doing it, training clients for a lot longer than that?
Oh, I was training before I even got to Venice. I was training. That was my thing. I left a really lucrative construction business to actually be a trainer. I don't know why. But I did that.
That's scary. That's
scary. I know. I really did that, and when I left, there were no, $1 million trainers at that time, but I really believed that, it would happen. As, and I didn't want to do something I hated for 12 hours. I'd rather do something I love for 15 hours. Right. So that's what happened. So I always did it. So I really learned a lot from all those guys, and I kind of, put my twist on it, and it started, it really blew up the last 4 or 5 years for me. Well, actually, well known. The last 4 or 5 years. I've been supporting myself as a trainer for 20 years. But
wow, that's no easy task, especially in LA, because you throw a rock and you hit 10 trainers out there.
Well, but if you love it and you're constantly getting better, and you have a goal in mind, it's nice. It's not work to me. I work for my dad. That's work. This is fun.
They say never work with your family. That's like
exactly
golden rule. Let's see, where I want to. So, at what point did you know you were, I don't want to make this all about you competing, but at what point did you know you'd had your fill of it? You know, I did as much of this as I wanted. Now I just want to focus on helping other people be their best.
Well, you understand, I was training around the best in the world, which probably wasn't good for me in my career. Because I'm looking at those guys 3 days out and go, I'm never going to be at that level. Not knowing that no one's going to be at that level, but that really didn't help me do it. But I really enjoyed helping those guys, and it seemed like every time it was always a show. And remember back then, if they lost the show, they lost the contract. Contracts were only like 3-6 month contracts. They wasn't like 2-year, 5-year contracts. So those guys, if they lost the show, that was it. You know, that was in the story. So every show was the show. And I just love the crunch. I love, you know, in the pain. I love the posing room. I love, you know, the dieting. I love doing the cardio with them. And I would stay there the whole time. It wasn't like I trained with them. You know, I ate what they ate. I trained when they trained. I did it. So I was a pretty good training partner. So me turning into a trainer and coach, I lived it, so I know it.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about your two most famous bodybuilder clients, Dexter and Shawn. Shawn, I know you've known both of these guys a long time. So let's start with Dexter. How did you end up becoming Dexter's trainer?
Well, as I said, I was always around, and Dexter likes to talk a lot of crap, so he would always pick on me. And I guess I seemed pretty bulletproof, so he liked that about me. And basically, it was a slow thing. It just slowly came over from when Charles was out of town. I would come in and I would do things, and my thing was I would do the things that we did back in the 90s, back in the 2000s, the old school stuff. That kind of stuff. I like doing that. So they would come back like, man, Rob, I really like this, man. This is great, you know. And it was just a slow thing. It wasn't intentional. It actually happened, you know. So that's what happened. So that was like 3 years ago.
Right. Okay. But you've been his official trainer for a little over a year, right? Am I right?
Yeah, a little bit over a year. But I've been around for 4.
Okay. So he's talked about that he uses more machines and everything, and I know from watching videos and stuff of you that you're all about the heavy, basic free weights, old school training. Were you able to get Dexter back into some of that?
Of course. That's my thing. Yes, that's my thing. But Dexter, you got to have the science behind you got to know the name of the workout, the name of the exercise, who invented it, how many pros did it, and what was the outcome, and then he has to be the judge of it. So it was a slow thing, but you know, we got him back on the free weights and stuff like that. But Dexter, you know, he's very mindful of his body. Like he won't do anything to hurt his body. He's very mindful of it, and it works out, you know. But if something's too much, he'll let you know right away.
Yeah, but you have
Shawn Rhoden.
Free weight squatting, bench pressing. Is he doing stuff like that again?
We're not doing any squatting. You know, we're not doing any squatting stuff like that. But there's a few machines at Goals that I'm telling you, actually, they're just as good as squatting. They're just as good as squatting. Because we want to get the quad big. We don't want the hip, we don't want the glutes big. We only want the quad big. On that day, not even the hamstring. We want the quad big, and there are machines and ways we can isolate and only get that big. A squat, you want to get everything big.
Right.
So once you have the legs, I believe you don't really have to do overly squatting like that. Once you have now to build them, you need the squat, you need the free weight. But once you have it to maintain it, you don't have to do it. And think about this: we're doing 2 big shows a year. We're doing other smaller shows a year. It's about longevity in a sport. You know, it's not. We have to leave the ego at the door, and whatever it takes for the athlete to look his best and come back tomorrow, that's what we have to do.
Right. Now, I have to put you on the spot. Dexter's arm at the Australia show looked like he had a little bit of a tear or something. It looked very similar to what happened to Cutler a few years ago when he made his comeback. And, yeah, unfortunately, we had some bad luck a few days out from the show. Can you tell us, what happened to Dexter Jackson?
Okay, I was here. I didn't go to Australia. I can't fly more than 5 hours. That's not going to happen. And Dexter looked so good, it really was no need for me to be there. It wasn't no need for me to be there.
Well, you're a trainer anyway. He is done working out.
He's done working out. Well, he did work. That's the thing about it. He did go work out over there. He did hit the gym. He did go to Doherty, and there's actually video of him actually working his arm. Now, just for me, I'm not a doctor. When he got back, we had lunch, and I said, what's up with your arm? He said, I don't know. He didn't even know.
Ooh.
He didn't even feel it.
Wow.
And when I felt his arm, honestly, I think it's a blood vessel. I don't think it's a tear. I don't. Definitely not a. Definitely, it could be a micro tear, but it seemed like a blood vessel to me.
Yeah.
It really didn't seem. There was no hematoma reaching up through here or going down in the forearm. It wasn't any of that. But like I said, I wasn't there. And when he went to Florida, he was going to get it checked out by a physician. So he didn't seem worried by it, and I don't seem worried about it. I'm not worried about it as well.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I hope he's fine, but I don't know if Rolly would have. I think Rolly looked freaking phenomenal at that show anyway. So I don't know if it would have mattered, but I don't think he would have been third place if his arm, his arm hadn't looked like that. So it's sad that
I actually trained Rolly. Right before he left. He came in and I was training him right before he left, and he looked really, really good. And you know something? They're all best in the world. I'm not mad at William. I'm not mad at Rolly. And like I said before, I have to teach myself that this is the package that we deliver, and it's in the hands of the judges. And I think Rolly, it's all about this. Rolly beat himself. It's not about beating Dexter. It's not about beating Bonat. It's about beating yourself. And the judges would like when you beat yourself. Yeah. And I think Rolly beat himself from the Arnold, and I think maybe that's why they brought him up. But I'm totally happy with it.
Okay.
I'm fine with it.
So moving forward, Dexter's looked so good for so long. Do you think he can look better? What can he improve on at 40?
Well, he was actually bigger. He was actually bigger these last two shows. He's actually a few pounds bigger with the same hardness. So there's a few tricks that we can do, but I think we're still evolving. He still loves the gym. He still walks into the gym loving it and still wanting to train. And long as when we have that, I think we can keep going. I mean, but he's not even falling below fourth at the Olympia. Why would we stop?
Right.
That's not even a talk. That's not even a question. Keep going forward.
Can I ask what he weighed at these last couple shows?
Don't really know because we stopped checking the weight. But I would say a little bit more, so maybe 4 or 5 pounds than he normally would weigh. So we don't look at the scale when we get in town. We don't check the scale. It's all about how it looks. We don't chase numbers. We chase.
I mean, Rolly went from fourth to first by losing 20 pounds in 2 weeks. So there you go. Weight being heavier is definitely not always a good thing. So next big name, Shawn Rhoden, Flexitron. How did you end up training Shawn?
The Shawn thing really was brewing before Dexter. We lived I lived in Marina Del Rey, and he moved into my building, so we would constantly, pass each other. And he would see me walking my little white dog and go, who's this guy? Like, who's this guy? So he did some homework, and that's Big Chris, that's Psycho. Or, you're in LA, you train with Charles, you gotta get Psycho in there. So he was talking. He's like, "Hey man, are you gonna be at the gym today?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Maybe I'll be there." I don't get hints. He never said come, And slowly I caught it, and he kind of wanted me to come in. So when I came in, when Charles and I were together, that was like the perfect brew. It was really good, And that's when magic happened. It just did. So he saw me, and then he brought me in. I was actually invited into it.
So continue. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, and then he moved away, and then of course I'm Psycho, so I would drive 2 hours to train him for an hour, then drive 2 hours back and train Dexter.
Where did he move to?
He moved to Santa Barbara. That's like 2.5 hours.
I know. I went to school there. That's a hike.
Right.
Wow, dude. Wow, that is a hike.
So the whole Olympia prep, 15 weeks, I drove all the way out there, never missed a day, never was late.
Yeah. So, do you take it personally when these guys don't do as well as you want them to?
Well, a few years ago, like I was talking to Hani a couple of days ago, and like I knew Hani when he didn't even know what amino acid was, and but I have to give these guys respect. They know everything we know, and they're staying up late at night, and we're getting the pencil and pad, and they're doing everything we're doing. So it's actually not intelligent or even disrespectful for me to think, we're gonna nail this. Those guys are very confident in what they do. Neil Hill is good, and Hani's good, and all those guys are good. So no, I don't feel bad about it. I just think they got that one, and we got to go back and go harder. But it's disrespectful to say, we got this, and they don't. These guys are smart. These guys are really intelligent. They're on their game just like we are. Yeah. So we just got to go harder. We just have to find out what it is and keep going. But and they're not going to make it easy. They're not going to lay down for us. They're not going to stop training. They're doing cardio. They're not going to stop.
Right.
So, we have to keep going too.
So Shawn Rhoden, I think he's got an amazing physique.
Yes.
Triceps and back. If those were at a higher level of development, I think he would push Heath to the brink and maybe beyond. So,
Yes.
what have you changed about his training? What are you doing with this guy to give him that back that's going to stand next to Heath in a rear double bicep and go pose for pose without losing?
Well, this last prep when he had to back out of the show because he had stomach ulcers.
Yeah.
I mean, that was hard for me because we had found the formula. We found it. There was no doubt about it that we found what worked for him. We found what got him in shape, and we were executing it well. So we basically did, I want to get the number right, we did 26 workouts in 14 days.
Ooh.
And I mean brutal workouts.
Jeez.
So he decided he wanted to go home, rest up for a few days, and he really needed the rest.
Yeah.
And that's when he found out he had the stomach ulcers.
Mm.
But before that, but Chris Aceto told me a year ago, he said, you have to beat Shawn up. You really got to beat him up. You really have to hammer beat him up. He can take it.
Yeah.
And I would push him, but Shawn, he's so hard to read, man. He puts his headphones on, he puts the hood on his head, and he's hard to read. So Chris Aceto told me, he said, Chris, you have to beat him up. And it works. So there is the secret is just beating him up.
Yeah.
Do cardio, come train, then come back, do it all over again. That's it. That's the secret.
I have to ask you, Phil Heath has got 8 of these freaking titles now. 8.
Right.
He's already tied Haney and Coleman.
Right.
What's it going to take for somebody to stop this guy? Can he be beaten before he gets 10?
Well, I think he can. If I didn't think he could, I couldn't get up in the morning. I couldn't drive 2 hours to go train Shawn if I didn't believe that we could win. I don't go for second. We're going for first.
Yeah.
Well, I really believe that Shawn needs to be the best Shawn, and I really believe we found that. I believe that Dexter needs to be the best Dexter, and I believe we found a formula for that too. So at the Olympia, there's going to be 2 new bodybuilders there that you've never seen before. Dexter's always going to be sharp. He's always going to be crisp. He's always going to command the stage, but we're going to be a little bit bigger and fuller. And Shawn, like you said, arms, chest, upper chest, and back. That's what we need. Yeah. And we found a formula for that too. I mean, if you can look at the videos, he looked really good like a few weeks out. Put it like this. Shawn, he never wears a tank top in the gym. Let's for a photo shoot after. I had him 5 weeks out in a tank top in the gym. That's how confident and how well he looked. And so we got the formula. We're going to execute it. We're going to have a really good offseason. Shawn never had a good offseason. Never. We always dieted into the show. He never did. So this time, like we're training now, we're already back in there. We're already going for it. So I really think just old school bodybuilding. I mean, I would love to sound really smart for you guys and say I'm doing this and doing that, but no, it's just do some reps, put some more plates on, do some more reps, put some more plates on, and then when he wants to stop, do some more.
Well, I'll tell you,
that's what we're doing.
If you look in the gym at all the people doing the equations on their notebooks between sets, they're usually not the most impressive people in the gym ever. So
right, exactly.
It's the people working hard with the hundreds and hundreds of pounds of iron, putting out the effort. Those are the people that have the physiques.
Exactly.
So you can either name names or don't, but do you think you might be working with any other guys in this who will be entering the Olympia in a few months?
Yeah. Well, yes. I would like them to name it, but some names you mentioned before, I trained him early this year. He came out, he liked it, but he needs to make an announcement. I don't want to make the announcement for him, but he's a very, very popular bodybuilder. He won a show this year already, and he's going to come out, and we're gonna do some damage in the gym as well. So I would like, and there's some top amateurs that were also in Kuwait that are back now, and he's going to be training with me as well. We trained before he went to Kuwait, so he's going to come back. We're going to train some more. But I'm going to let them tell their story. Yeah. And but you can figure it out. You can figure it out.
Have you ever been over there to Kuwait and Oxygen Gym?
I was invited. I never went.
Oh, man, what's wrong with you? I would have gone. Jeez.
I'm Gold's Gym till I die. I'm Gold's Gym till I die. No, I'm Gold's Gym. No. I'm Gold's Gym.
So, well, what we were just talking about, machines versus free weights and all that. You know, you're known as getting great results with people with free weights. Why do you think free weights, which have been around for 100 years, are still the very best tool, and machines are just kind of a supplement to them?
Well, I still use machines. If I need to target a certain part of the back, if I need to hit that lower lat, the machine is the best way. You know, we use boards and we use steps and things like that to get the person exactly where we want them.
Yeah.
But I believe in pre-exhaustion. But once I get that body part full of muscle, we're going to free weight. Yeah. So why do I think that? Because it's simple. You stress the muscle, it breaks down, it comes back bigger and stronger. That's it. That's the science behind it. You break it down, you feed it with nutrients, you take your right vitamins, it comes back bigger and stronger. That's it. That's what we have to do. I mean, we can squeeze and we can flex and we can do all this stuff, but the body is designed, if you stress it, it will break down and it will come back stronger to complete your job. That's what it's for. It's like when you work with your hands, you get calluses on your hands. The calluses are so your hands get stronger so you can do your work. The same thing. If a guy gets under 500 pounds, he reps it out 15, 20 times, his chest's going to get bigger. So that's it. I would love to be technical and write an ebook and have all these equations in there, but it's just going to be, when they do that, I would put more weight on it, and then put more weight on it, and then put more weight on it. That's it. That's what we do.
So, I mean, people talk, especially guys who are around in the 90s, will say, well, you know, the physiques now, these guys aren't that great. And at the end, I think the best pros are still pretty damn good. But, you know, overall, I think we don't see as much of the clean separation. We don't see as much of that real dense muscle tissue. And I suspect it's because a lot of guys have moved away from free weights and use a lot of machines, like one body part. You see a lot of weak, flat chests now.
Right.
In the old days, look at pumping iron. Now, you know, that was freaking almost 50 years ago. Not one of those guys had a weak chest. Not one. And all they did was barbell bench, barbell incline, dips, barbell decline. You know, maybe some cable crossovers and flies, but they weren't sitting there on 4 different hammer machines and something where it's like a carnival ride basically.
Right.
So, I mean, do you think there's a direct link between the shift towards machines and some of the weaknesses we're seeing in the physiques nowadays?
Well, I think it's this. I think that now there's too many rules. So when I grew up, you know, in the hood, you know, everybody had big arms and big chests because we would hit it 3 or 4 times a week.
Yep.
That's just what we would do. Now, I only hit chest on Monday. I only hit chest on Tuesday. No, there are no rules. How your chest feel? It's a weak body part? No, I'm fine. Let's hit it. Let's do it. So with Shawn, we did a lot of stuff, a lot of maintenance work, we would call it. So some days we would train shoulders, and then we would train maybe 10 sets of back, really heavy. I believe in keeping blood and nitrogen in any weak body part to help it grow. So there are no rules. We don't have those rules. I think now there's just too many rules, and you know, you can't do that. Well, we must do 4 sets of incline, and we must do 5 sets. No. Let's just keep going. Because sometimes we would do 15 sets of flat bench.
Yeah.
15 sets. Yeah. And that's what those...
You're going to overtrain. Your chest you'll never get any results.
No. So that's what we did back in the day. So the guys you mentioned, when they had these big, round, full chests, that wasn't 20 sets of chest. That was like 50 sets of chest. That was exactly. And just go ahead and doing it. I mean, they would hit legs and then, let me get a little blood in my chest before I go because I'm going down to the beach. That's just the way it was. So we got to get back to that. So stop all the rules.
It's funny because you know Danny Hester. Danny worked in corrections a long time ago, like over 20 years ago. But he said a lot of the guys in there would train. They would just bench press and curl and do dips like every day. Yes. And they had some of the most massive shoulders, chests, and arms you've ever seen.
Yes, it's true.
7 days a week training the same body part.
Yes.
So rules are.
That's what we did. That's how we train, and we got to get back there. You're not gonna. I don't see how you can build a great chest like the one you're speaking of, hitting it every 7 days.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how we've all fallen. A lot of us have fallen into that trap of thinking that there are these rules, and you know. A muscle needs 7 days to recover, and you know it's probably a crock of shit. But
no, I don't believe that. And if you talk to my guys, Dexter, Shawn, and all my clients, they have certain body parts that they hit every day.
Wow.
Until they can, it was okay. I was back off 2 days or back off 1 day. then right back. You have to have a maintenance program. You have to keep blood and nitrogen in a weak body part. You have to.
Now, I'm sure you employ a lot of different techniques and everything, but do you lean more towards heavy straight sets, or do you like a lot of these supersets and giant sets, drop sets, things like that?
It all depends. Like certain people, like they need to do 10 reps because not the muscle, they'll burn the muscle up. They're really heavy. But certain other people, we can do triple drop sets and stuff like that. I like the triple drop sets if the diet is right. And that's one thing I talk about Chris Aceto. Out of all the clients that I deal with that I'm not doing their diet, he reaches out and he actually tells me, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then I can actually adjust my training to his diet. So that's why the thing with Shawn, why he works so well this time, he actually communicates. It's not a one-man rodeo for Aceto. That's why I love working with him. And I've worked with him ever since the Chris Cormier and, those days. So he's always been around. He was at Goals back then when I first came in. He had an office right next door. And he had the same concept. He had the same concept. So he actually communicates and he tells you and he guides you. So it's not like I'm guessing about it or saying how many meals you have or where your carbs at. Like he tells me before, so I already know what I can do.
Yeah. And, Dexter with George Farah, do you communicate with George in a similar way?
I met George for the first time and he knew who I was, but probably from Dexter, but I met him for the first time in Ohio.
Yeah.
So no, we don't communicate. But Dexter will tell me we're doing this, we're doing that, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Dexter is more. His program is more like by the book. Shawn is more like kind of like jazz. We just come in here and we just go ahead and do it. As far as the training, but Shawn just lets me do whatever. I'll come in. Shawn said, okay, we're gonna get 5 sets of incline. And we're gonna start with some flies. We're gonna do some floor press. Shawn said, I don't care. He doesn't care. Yeah. Let's just get it over with. So, but Dexter is more. He's more this, that, like that.
Seems like he needs 10 pages of evidence before he tries something new.
Exactly. That's what he needs.
Oh man. So do you train only like bodybuilders, or do you train regular people too?
It's like this. Well, right now I'm getting all these bodybuilders, which is fine. But 5 years ago, I had 25 bikini girls that I was training.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it just happened. No, the bodybuilders are worse. Yeah. I'd rather go back to the bikini girls. They're more drama. The bodybuilders are more drama than the bikini girls. Yeah. So, but no, I train regular people, but it just seems there's more attention is placed on the bodybuilders that I'm training right now, which I love it all. I love it all.
But it's got to be more work to train a bodybuilder, especially someone at the level of these guys. I mean, you got to push these guys harder than anyone's ever pushed them. And these guys, they've done it all.
I push all my clients. Yeah. I don't remember the last time I did an hour session. I don't remember at all. I don't care who it is. It's till we're done. It's not an hour. It's not 45 minutes until we're done. So they all get the same treatment. They all get the same cycle.
Okay.
A cycle don't turn on and off. It's always on. It's constant.
Cycle. Tell me, if you could train, if Phil Heath was your client, do you think you could do anything in the training that would bring about a different look to his physique?
Phil who?
Heath, Mr. Olympia. Come on now.
Oh, that guy. Guy.
He's from Colorado.
Well, let me get I respect Phil Heath. I respect what he does, but I just want to beat that guy.
Yeah.
I want to be the guy that beats that guy, and I respect Hani, and I respect what he does, and I want to beat Hani. So that question. Only way I can answer that question is if I beat him, and I haven't beat him yet, But I really want to beat Phil Heath. I really do, and he's not just gonna. I've come to the conclusion he's not gonna just lay me down and let me have that. I got to take it from him.
Yeah.
So I'm on a quest to find the bodybuilder, and we can go in and get that guy. Okay. So training him that's not even a part of it. That would be me giving up beating him if I join the team. That's like me going to Kuwait.
Yeah.
And we're going to burn or something. No, that's not going to happen.
No, Venice till you die. So,
right.
Sometimes I look at these older pictures from older bodybuilders and, because I'm kind of a trainer and I think of, I would have fixed this, or I would have brought up that. If there's anybody from the past at all that you wish you could have had a chance to train for maybe a year or so and make them better than they were, even though they were great for their era, anybody come to mind that you would have wished you could have worked with?
Well, it's funny because when I was working with Charles, there was a lot of things that I think that we should have done differently. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of times where I think that, that we didn't do things. And I don't. No disrespect to Charles. I mean, I could have been wrong, but I just like to be in a position right now where it all falls on me, and I can say, let's do this and let's do that. So there's a lot of them, all of them. There's a lot of people that I trained with that I wish I could have had total control of the program, but all of them.
Right. So I'm not asking you to throw Charles under the bus. I have deep respect for the man too. But when you think about what you would have done differently, because you're an expert trainer in your own right, what are some things, generally speaking, you might have done differently with? And you don't have to name the guy, but what would you have done differently than what Charles was doing with them as a trainer?
Okay, all respect to Charles, but it always comes to, I was a student of Charles, and of course, it's going to get to the point where I want to branch out and I want to be the position I am right now. It's no disrespect to him. Obviously, I would be a disrespect to myself if I was still, living in a shadow,
Right.
And I have to do that. I have a family to feed like everybody else, but I just want to do more of the stuff we did in the early 2000s and more of the stuff we did in the late 90s. I would stick more to that type of stuff and the stuff that he actually, we would implement that. And like I said this before, and I did another interview, a lot of bodybuilders, they come to Gold's Venice for Gold's Venice, and unfortunately they get there and they find out Gold's Venice isn't there anymore. Yeah. It's not the Gold's Venice that I fell in love with. But like I said before, it's up to me to bring it back, and only I'm gonna bring it back with that old school bodybuilding. And forget all these hour sessions and 10 reps like that and all these rules. We didn't have rules like that. I mean, sometimes I would train with a pro bodybuilder, and as we walking out, another one come in because he flew in from another country. And he goes, "Hey, you want to hit arms?" I go, "Yeah, let's go hit arms." And we hit arms. We didn't play around. We actually hit arms, and we actually hit legs, or we had whatever it was. And we got to bring that back. We got to bring that mentality back in the gym more for us in the home or in the protocols. We got to bring the old school training back, and that's what's going on with physique. The training is not what it used to be. Now, no offense to none of you guys like that, what you guys are doing, but we got to bring we got to get back to the fundamentals, to the foundation of bodybuilding. We got to watch Pump and Iron. We got to watch the Battle for Olympia tapes. We got to see what's going on with those guys and what they were doing, why they were so round and so full and so so vascular, and their bodies were just works of art. We got to get back to that, and just, we can pull these other chains all day and long, but when you walking out, I remember when I first came in the Goals, I did legs with Cormier, and I thought he came from hell. I thought that he was a demon. I thought something he was possessed by. I threw up for 7 weeks straight, every leg workout. I would try baking soda. I tried eating. I tried not eating. There's no way around it. It's something I had to adapt to. And the same thing with another thing. People always say the Flex Wheeler didn't train. It's not like really. I was there, and I think you guys would see. They would see the last 2 weeks when he was, toning things down and like that. Right. That guy really trained hard. That body didn't. It wasn't just a gift. I mean, he really worked at that body. And
I was there early '90s when it was him, Cormier, and Rico.
Right.
They were there like every day.
Right.
And I remember inclines. They all did 405 on the incline for reps.
Right.
They all did 500, 600-pound squats for reps.
Exactly.
Heaviest dumbbells for rows. I mean, those guys were all super strong, and they trained like maniacs.
Exactly.
So for anyone to say that, everybody knows Cormier trained hard and heavy. He's got a reputation as being one of the strongest, but Flex was no slouch, and especially, the guy's wrists are like 10-year-old Asian girls.
Exactly.
So for him to be able to move the weights he did without his limbs snapping like twigs, it was pretty amazing.
Right. Yeah. So that's what we got to get back to that. We got to get back to that. I remember I came into the gym a few weeks ago, and I saw this kid. He was filming him doing 405, and he says, "Hey," I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Putting this on YouTube." I said, "It's not that much weight. It's not really impressive." I said, "Oh, really? I'm not. It's not that. It's not really that impressive and stuff like that. Yeah. The bar's not. If the bar's not bending, you're pretending. So you really got to get back to it, man."
Yeah, I mean, how old are you, can I ask?
51.
51, okay, I'm not that far behind. I'll be 49 in a few months. But I remember when I started going to gyms in the late 80s, it was no big deal for people to do 405 on the bench for reps. And there was every gym had a few guys that could do 500 for a rep or two.
Exactly.
Squats, every gym had a few guys that could do 500 or 600 for reps.
Right. Front squats.
Yeah, and it wasn't a big deal. It was like, okay, well, it's a gym. This is what the guys at the gym are super strong.
That's just what we did.
You were supposed to be. Nobody.
Right. So,
you didn't have
but we gotta bring it back. We have to bring that back. We have to bring it back, especially for the young guys coming up in sport. We have to bring back the heavy lifting and stuff like that. If we don't, we're gonna keep seeing. Back then, you would see 20 guys with amazing physiques, small waist, full round arms, big chest, low hanging lats. And now it's kind of far in between because only genetic freaks are actually stepping out of work. But you can build a body. You can be blessed with it, or you can build one. That's the whole thing about this sport. You're not boxed in to anything. You can make it whatever you want to, and that's why I fell in love with the sport. And I can make it into whatever the person lets me. But we have to get back to that.
So maybe a year and a half from now, Gold's Venice. It'll be a few weeks before the Olympia, and do you think it's possible we could see, kind of like the old days, there might be like six or eight guys in the Olympia staying out there in LA training for the Olympia?
Sure.
A couple of them with Charles and a few of them with you, and that would be like, to me.
Well, all of them gonna be with me. I'm not gonna share them with Charles.
Well,
I want all of them.
Still have a couple here and there.
So no, his Charles' name is already there. He doesn't have anything to prove. I have something to prove, so I need the heads right now.
So it's all on you. You got to do this single-handedly, Chris.
I want it. That's what I want. But of course, and honestly, I'm kind of joking about Charles, but
yeah,
I really want to make him proud. I really want him to look over and say, I had a lot to do with that guy's success. Right. That's ultimately what I want, and he really has a major part of who I am today.
I mean, in another interview, you said Charles told you like 15 years ago, looking around Gold's Venice, said someday you're going to run this place.
Yeah, he did.
So that day seems to be here.
And I thought he was blowing smoke. But she says, you're going to take this place over, and I didn't believe it.
Yeah,
I didn't believe it. So, I'm happy though. I love it. I'm doing what I love to do, and like I said before, I really want to make Charles happy.
Wow. Well, Chris, I want to thank you, and I got to say, you don't seem that psycho to me. So, for what that's worth, you seem like a normal, stable guy. Then again, I'm sure if you put me through a workout, I might change my mind. But so I wish you the very best of luck. I thank you so much for your time. It's cool to see. I love this attitude. I hope you are able to bring some of that old school vibe back, because man, yeah, I'm very sad. I was there in the 90s, and I saw how great that place used to be. I would love to see just an inkling of that again. So
you will. I'll bring it back. Trust me. I'll bring it back.
All right. So I want to remind everyone, if you're watching this on YouTube, to please subscribe to this channel. Click the little bell, and you'll get notifications when the new videos. Chris, what are some? Do you have a YouTube channel or Instagram? Anything you want to promote?
I think I do. Yeah. Well, you can find me on Instagram, PsychoFitness21, Redemption. Go to my website, PsychoFitness, and all the links are right there. You can find me, or you just go to Shawn or Dexter or anybody else I train, and I'm always piggybacking on somebody else. I'm around.
Right on. Well, again, thank you so much for your time. It'll be interesting to watch things unfold out there. Yes. And it's cool to have new blood, new great trainers on the scene like you. Even though you're not new, you've been doing this. You're doing this for a minute.
Yeah, I've been around.
Yeah, it's
not powdered donuts. It's actually real great.
Cool. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching the Ronline Report with Chris Psycho Fitness Lewis.
Thank you very much.